Hello, my name is Sonny, and I welcome you to my city, Savannah tour. This tour is your passport to Savannah history and the voice through which the city tells her story. We begin the tour here, atop Yamacraw Bluff, overlooking the Savannah River, at the exact spot where the very first colonists arrived. And that story of Savannah begins right down there. It was just behind this stand of mulberry trees almost 300 years ago that the original colonists arrived from Gravesend, London, at the foot of Yamacraw Bluff. They had crossed the Atlantic bound for Charleston, and after a brief respite, made their way down the coast, then 14 miles up the mighty Savannah River. Eventually, the bluff gives way to ballast stone streets and numerous sets of stairways which lead up to the warehouses that begin springing to life along the waterfront. Today, they are restaurants and shops, but back then, the massive arched warehouse doors were made of wood, and here was housed the vast stores of pine, rice, and slaves on which men made their fortunes. You see their wealth in the architecture of their homes, men like Richard Richardson and James Haversham Jr. From the warehouses along the river, the story continues along the top of the bluff, where these suspended walkways and cast iron bridges became known as Factors Walk, and the upper floors of the warehouses became known as Factors Row. These factors were the brokers of Savannah's commodities, the driving force behind the developing coastal empire. As we continue east along Factors Walk, overlooking the Savannah Harbor, the story leads us to Emmett Park, the location of Savannah's battery during the Revolutionary War. 12 heavy guns crown the bluff overlooking the river, just on the edge of Fort Prevost, whose wall still stands guard on the city's northeastern end today. Above the top of this wall, the story of Savannah leads us through the remains of Trustee's Garden, an experimental garden modeled after the world-famous Chelsea Physic Garden in London. Plants from all over the world were brought to Trustee's Garden for cultivation, leading to advances in the peach, cotton, and pharmaceutical industries. Within the confines of this old garden, you will find the inn made famous in Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island, where Captain Flint drunk himself to death on rum. And you will see the oldest home in the state of Georgia, dating back to 1734. I will show you all of this in just the first 20 minutes of the tour. If it's the whole story of Savannah that you're looking for, then book your tour now and come along with me.